the same as the outline. All right, guys, so welcome to Melyn Talks Preseason 9 and Zyra. I've been intending to make this video for a long time, but I haven't until now. Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple things. Basically, the summary of why Zyra is so strong, with a little bit of comments on some other stuff as well. All right, so first up, turret plating is why Zyra is so broken right now. Turret plating does so many things for Zyra. It punishes her for shoving all the time, which she does naturally anyway. Yeah, that's nice. So it's also good because it keeps the laning phase go on for longer. One of the worst things for Zyra was when the laning phase ended really early on, but now the turret plating helps keep it a little tankier. The turrets have a lot of health early game, so even if you lose, right? Even if you lose lane, they're not going to take the turret probably. I had a jungler today stay on my lane for like 4 minutes or something, just shoving it in, but we still had the turret, which is nice. And what people often didn't realize before, and they definitely needed to, is that it's also good because you don't take the turret early either. In the past, if you took the turret too early, it was really bad as Zyra support. That's almost never good, because what they do is the enemy AD carry would freeze the lane near his turret, and you were kind of ineffective. You were very poor at punishing their top laner, and you couldn't really roam around the map as good as a lot of other supports. So that wasn't good either. But now, even if you somehow take the first turret early, that's 5 turret platings, each worth 160 gold. Let me do some math for you guys. That's 800 gold just from turret plating, not to mention the first turret bonus gold and the turret itself. So now, if you just somehow get an early turret, you're just swimming in so much gold it doesn't matter. So turret plating is by far the reason why Zyra is so strong right now. And then the second point is really closely related. The second point is really closely related to the first one. All right. It's that one of Zyra's weaknesses is that the enemy support could just out roam you. And sometimes, especially if you're against like an Ezreal or something, it was very hard to punish that. But now, right, if the enemy Alistar or whatever goes top lane for 5 minutes or something, you're going to chunk out half of that turret or something, which is really nice. So it really punishes roams, and not just enemy support roams, right? I think it makes it a little harder for the enemy mid laner to roam as well, which is nice, right? Because if the enemy mid laner comes down and tries to kill you bottom lane, usually your mid laner is going to get some turret plating gold, which will help him out, which is nice. So yeah, I never roamed much in the first place as Zyra support, and now it's kind of nice because I can punish the enemy laners for roaming as well. So yeah, this is very closely related to turret plating, but it's just another thing that kind of helps Zyra out. Went the wrong way again. So the third point, this video's gone a little quickly. The third point is that there's not a lot of tanks in the meta right now, which is nice for Zyra. Now you might say, well, Melyn, assassins kind of suck, and yeah, they kind of do. But at the same hand, on the other hand, no, we got two hands. On the other hand, Zyra is really good at bursting squishy targets, even if they're an assassin, right? And it kind of raises the mechanical ceiling for Zyra a little bit, outplaying assassins. Hopefully you have flash and they don't, because that's really the only way you do outplay assassins. But it's kind of nice to be able to burst pretty much anyone on the enemy team whenever. Electrocute's fine right now. Ignite's really, really strong, so we can do a lot of damage that way. So not having tanks is actually pretty good, because another thing about tanks, right, is they usually have really good engage, and if Zyra gets forced on, like if the enemy team forces on a team with Zyra, then yeah, you're really good at punishing with that. But if they force onto you, you're usually just dead, which is no good. So yeah, not having tanks, not having as many engaged champions in the meta right now is helping Zyra out. Then the last point, because apparently this video is going to be like 3 minutes long. The last point on preseason is going to be Dark Harvest. Dark Harvest used to be fantastic on Zyra, but it's not so good anymore. The problem with Dark Harvest is that you're really relying on getting early stacks, and a lot of times that doesn't happen, especially the higher elo you go, kind of the less fighting there is. But if you really think you can snowball, I think Dark Harvest is solid. I took Dark Harvest into a brand just because I know a Zyra brand lane you're always going to be fighting, and it turned out to work really, really well for me. But yeah, in general, I don't recommend it. If you said, Melyn, give me one Zyra support page, I'd give you an Electrocute page. But, you know, like everything in League, and I say this all the time, right? There are so many situational things that you can do in certain situations. So I think Dark Harvest falls around that. I'm not going to be running it very often. Most of the time, I'm probably going to be running Electrocute or Comet. A Glacial Augment with Twin Shadows is still somewhat legitimate for Zyra support. Aftershock into Leona is still strong. Dark Harvest, yeah, if you really think you're going to be fighting a lot and you have a strong early game, I think Dark Harvest can be solid. So, I mean, that's pretty much it for preseason. Grandmaster's out. 2 accounts in Grandmaster, but it doesn't really mean anything because everyone's reset. And I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about for the preseason. So the shortest Melyn Talks video ever, but if you got, I have an email from one of my students. I need to respond to that. If you have any questions, you can always ask, and I'll read the comments and answer. Next week, Thursday, I'm going to be gone, but we'll do a Melyn Talks some other time in the future. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good time. Night, morning, wherever you are.